Hello, my darlings. It's Michaela. So, good evening. And I feel like I am coming from this like busy woman place today. I had a full day carting someone else around. I don't typically do that shit, but I'm sure lots of busy moms do. And so this is bringing my mom to an orthopedist, dealing with her hairline fracture in her wrist. And so everything's fine, everything's fine, but it was like, did I expect to spend 4 hours doing that today? Not really. And so what ends up happening when you are a woman who not only has her kind of primary obligations, work, her own stuff, and then she has her family, and then she has her weight loss, fitness, health, well-being goals. Like, how the hell does that work? So for a lot of women, her shit just kind of gets shoved to the side, and it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen consistently. And so there's this kind of feeling of like stress and frustration. And what I would like to talk about tonight is doing this in a better way. So the thing that prompted this desire to talk was from having a talk with another busy woman yesterday who, has more obligations coming up, caring for older parents. And it's like, if someone's having an issue, it's like, well, I just have to kind of drop everything and go. So we're going to talk about two different alternatives regarding, hi, Alan. Hi, my dear. Regarding, like, if your life is either one way all of the time for the foreseeable future, or if you're having a period of more obligations, of more stress. That's a different way. There's a different approach that I would take with that. All right. So the few things that I want to say about this, doing less, really what we're talking about is not sacrificing the shit that you need and or want, or certainly not sacrificing the shit that you need or want generally or all the time. Okay? So, I'm going to share a little story too. So many years ago, this is about my mom again. So she went to Spain for 3 weeks. Hi, Carlos. Hi, my dear. And she needed her home tended to, her gardens watered, like with heavy hoses in the height of summer. And then she needed her little dog and her 2 cats to be taken care of. So this was while I had my own massage practice, and maybe I had another therapist working for me. But anyway, it was like I had my life, and then suddenly I was doing her life too. And I remember at one point in these like 3 weeks that I was freaking doing this, that I just felt like kind of like a robot. It was just like, all I did was deal with all of the obligations that I had. The pets, the, errands, the chores, clients, and it was so miserable. And what I realized was, I'm like, I bet this is how so many women feel all the freaking time, like carting their kids around, cooking, like picking up after people, doing their work, like, and so if you're just existing in this role of kind of service and obligation, that's not really a way to live. That is my opinion. And then B, I'm going to say, so one thing I kind of figured out was for that period of time, those 3 weeks, it was like, oh my God, like everything is kind of to the minute. Like I don't have any extra wiggle room. And so what I felt like the opposite of, I felt like I needed to control everything. I felt like I had to be so like rigid and on top of stuff and impatient even, because I felt like the opposite of control was going to be chaos. And what I realized was the opposite of control was actually trust. And so, because there was a point where it was like, I actually can't do everything. Like I can't do all of this. And so the great epiphany that I had was choosing, I recognize that the real opposite of control is trust. And so that's what I did. And so I said all sorts of like wacky mantras. My timing is perfect and elegant. This is a sister goddess thing. And what I did was I still did stuff that I needed to do, but instead of feeling like I had to micromanage everything, that I had to have this death grip on shit to make sure that it happened, I relaxed a lot more. And I kind of like, not just like gave it up to God, but I even said at times, like, I need help. Like, I need help with this. How is this going to happen? It's like, how can I be two places at once? And I feel like a lot of busy women experience that challenge. Like, people, they need to clone themselves because they need to be multiple places at the same time. And the invitation that I want to make, as well as some like very straightforward things to do in all of this to help with your own level of sanity, is to ask for help. And so we're going to talk about like, honey, could you please? We're going to talk about that help, but also like help from like a higher power. Because what's amazing about that is that when we actually ask for assistance, we get it. Okay? And this is something also, I feel like I'm going to kind of speak in circles a little bit tonight, but being in a stressed out state is not a way to live. Like, it's not a way to live in terms of, it's not a way to live in terms of like well-being, but it's also like we're not designed to live that way. Like, that's not the existence that's really kind of possible for the long term. Like, we're meant to deal with stress momentarily and then it ends. But when we have chronic stress, like, that shit just grinds us down. Like, not only does it feel shitty and kind of, but it does like a lot of shitty things for our life and for our health and for our bodies. Okay? So here we go. So number one, so we're going to be talking about doing less and having more in a variety of ways. So number one, which I think might be revolutionary for a lot of women that take care of a lot of things, is that you don't necessarily need to be the one to do the thing. Even if you're responsible for it, it doesn't mean that you have to do it. So that, like, can someone else do this? Like, no one else can exercise for you. No one else can eat for you. No one else can sleep for you. No one else potentially can, like, do your work at your job. I don't know how that goes. But are there opportunities for someone else to do this thing? And whether that's even, you know, your brother like lives 2 blocks away and your child is like needs a ride from blah, 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 like Uncle Harry, like, could you pick him up today? You know, and I'm going to say this too, your children can get more involved in stuff. Like, once again, you don't need to do it all. And I think that the more your efforts are kind of shared within a family, within a tribe of sorts, the whole benefits. And when like mama is just being ground down, like, that is terrible for everyone. So I think that, again, I'm generalizing, but I think that when it's felt that, or a woman feels like, you know, she can just kind of take care of things, it's like if that never lets up, or if someone else never steps in, it's like that is just a recipe for resentment and like poor health, and just kind of like a lack of, like well-being in general. Okay? So I think number one, do you have to be the person to do this thing? Maybe not. And so asking for help, enlisting help, having an agreement, I do this these days, you are going to do this those days. Number two is if you have to do the thing, if you are the individual that needs to do this thing, whether that is work, what I was talking about with this lovely lady absolutely pertain to personal health and well-being, weight loss, fitness. So it's like, if you are the one that has to do this, then can you make this work better in your life? I think for a lot of us, especially regarding exercise, anything pertaining to these elements, weight loss, fitness, health, well-being, I feel like a lot of people kind of have rigidity around how they think it needs to happen. And so it's like, well, I plan to do this exercise class in the morning, but my child was sick at night, and so I was up all night, and so I certainly wasn't going to be getting up earlier to go to this class, so I missed it, and therefore that's it. And it's like, okay, well, if your goal was to move today, like, one thing that I talk about a lot is just like doing housework, chores after dinner. So like, I'm gonna start to yawn. Oh my goodness. If it's like be the one, if it's like I haven't moved today and that was my goal today. So it's like, would I rather sit on the freaking couch than put the dishes away? Yes. Or the laundry, or like the thing that has been, sitting at the base of the stairs that needs to go up into the attic. Yes. No one ever wants to do that shit, which is why we don't do that shit, which is why like the dryer remains full or laundry remains unput away. But what I'm going to suggest, and I do this with myself and I encourage my fat burners to do it, is to just take that opportunity. So it's like, put that one commitment that didn't happen in a way that you intended and just transmute it into something else that could be done, that needs to be done, that would benefit your life or your home to be done, and have this like two birds, one stone thing. Okay? So that's one thing. Can you make what you intended to do easier, more fun, more convenient? And so it's like, I was supposed to go to this exercise class. I'm not going to make it. And it's like, can I make this more convenient? Can I do this at home? I was supposed to do this like, intense blah, blah, blah class today. And like, I don't feel up for that. I feel under rested. And it's like, how do you make this easier? The goal is movement. And it's like, if the goal is movement. So it's like, how do I make this more palatable for myself? And so walking is my number one. That's like the easiest thing. I generally can make it happen. I'll talk about my night. But anyway, it's like, if we start to have a little more kind of mental flexibility regarding how we're going to do something, it's so much easier for it to happen. So whether that's at home, in a shorter duration, broken up at a less than expected or ideal time, it's like, if you can make it happen, that's what matters. You could make something shorter and more intense, shorter and broken up. So actually, I'll share this. So I knew I was going to be bringing my mom to the orthopedic surgeon today. She wanted to be picked up at 8. And so that meant that I should be like leaving my house at 7:30. Did I wake up at, like, if I wanted to work out for an hour or more, I would have needed to get up at least at 5:30. I didn't. I got up at 6:30. And so it was like, when am I going to work out? And I could have walked this evening. And the truth is, I didn't want to. I knew I was going to make this video. And it's like, I really don't want to like shower again and like put on some sort of makeup and then do that, take it all off. And so what I did today and I'm going to talk about more things too regarding diet and weight loss, is what I've been doing today, this evening. I've been doing little rounds of 30 squats at a time. So it's like I was on the computer for a little bit, get up, I did 30 squats. You know, I made a little post, I got up, I did 30 squats. And it's like, I'm just doing it. And so, is this going to be the greatest day ever for exercise for me? No. Hi, Ray. Hi, my dear. But is doing something better than nothing? Absolutely. And so if you always have this idea, that concept in your mind, then you never rule shit out. It's like, and you always look for opportunities and how you can make something work. All right. And then, Yes. And so then it's like, is this my life? Like, am I always too busy? Am I always under rested? Am I always like, you know, not doing the shit that I really want to do for myself? And it's like, is this a long-term thing or is this a temporary thing? So it's like, do you have, like the lovely lady that I spoke with, it's like suddenly she's caring for older parents. And it's like, this is new. Like, they're figuring stuff out. You know, it's like there's been a couple crises that have like needed her to like spring into action. This is sudden. So it's like, it makes sense that her life is being a bit disrupted by that as they're figuring this out. So in general, for something like that, it's like, this is for a period of time. So it's like, can you kind of like suck it up a little bit? Can you like, is it workable for this short amount of time as it is? Or does something need to change as it is? Like, is there an element of consistency in this that you can see, that you can alter, that you can offset, that you can help yourself around to continue to do what you need to do for yourself? Or is this a long-term thing? Is this just like, this is how life has been? My work is busy. My kids do all these things. I have another lovely lady in my life who works a lot. And it's like, exercise doesn't happen easily because her job takes up so much of her day every day. And it's like, are you getting paid more for this? No. And it's like, do you want to be working this much? Like, do you want to be able to do other things for yourself as well? And so it's like, that's a real consideration to be making. Your life needs to work for you in every number of ways. And so it's like, it's okay for shit not to work at times. And it's also okay for shit not to work for a really long time, with you having the intention to change it, with you like looking for the opportunities to change it. And it doesn't mean that that shit doesn't remain hard. It doesn't mean that it doesn't remain a struggle, or that we just like, oh, you know, now we just wave the wand and we have the thing. But it does mean that it's like, it's not okay for anybody to struggle with something and kind of accept it. Like, for it to not be a fit, for it to not work for you, and for you to think like, I just have to kind of deal with it. And it's like, if it's really not okay, it's not okay. And if it's not okay, it needs to change. And the thing that's so great about that is that like, the world kind of wants that for you. Like, the greater you wants that for you. Like, you should have what you want. You should have things that feel good. And so when we, at the very least, have that expectation for ourselves, it's so much easier for shit to change. It's crazy. I feel like in so many respects, things are like a decision, like made over and over and over again, everything, that's it. And so whether that's like, you know, I want more free time, or like, you know, I want a massive online empire, or I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to be as strong as possible. Like everything is a decision. And so like nothing happens overnight, but we just have to keep making that decision. And then it does. I also wanted to say there's a reality around fat loss, fitness, health, and well-being. And this is in the do less, have more camp. So I will say, like, I really do believe like nothing is worth stress. Like nothing is worth stress. And so like I get myself stressed out about shit at times or feel stressed at times, but I also know that nothing is worth stress. And I will also say if fat loss, fitness, health, and well-being are your priorities, never stressing about these things is the best move. All right? So here's some like, I have no time, you know, I have no energy to like spend more on these things. So with fat loss, when people say like, you know, oh, I want to lose weight, but I don't have any time, you know, to exercise. And it's like, well, lucky you, because you don't need to exercise to lose weight. And so the number one thing for weight loss is diet. And this is something that actually helps me be a little accountable. Like the only reason why I know about weight loss, why I know about different approaches to eating has been because of my own struggles with emotional eating. And so, and truth be told, like I was always athletic growing up and in high school, but I feel like my focus on fitness really was once again to offset dietary excess. And so like you can't ever exercise your way out of like as much as you could eat, but it's also helpful to be consistent with exercise if you do overeat. So that was my life. And so one thing I remind myself of is that if there's ever a toss-up of fuck, you know, I can't exercise today. Like I did not make it happen today. Like I've done my like sets of 30 squats, you know, I've walked like my mom around parking lots today between buildings. You know, I picked up 40-pound bags of bird seed and cat litter for her, but I did not exercise as I normally do. And what I reminded myself of today was that like this makes me even more kind of like honest about my diet, because that's number one. So if I'm concerned at all about not exercising today and my waistline, that's not the place to put my attention. I should put it on the food that I'm eating. So that might be a useful thing for you too. If you ever feel like shit, you know, I'm not doing this well, I'm not doing enough, it's like the most consequential thing is going to be the food that you eat. And what a lot of people will do is they'll kind of stress themselves out about not working out and then eat to handle that stress and then feel like, fuck, you know, I'm eating so poorly and I'm not working out. And in reality, relax about the exercise, try to get some more movement in. We can talk about more options as well. And then just be a lot more honest about what you're eating that day. And the truth is, based on how you're exercising, that could even jack up hunger, which is the last thing we want to do. But it's so much easier to either keep things kind of like together or in a sense of order and moving forward if we just stay focused on that one piece. Okay? Then another bit of reality around fitness is that in many respects, like, yes, we want to be consistent with lifting weights and some sort of cardiovascular activity. That sounds great. But what I also want to say is, especially as we get older, we don't want to be grinding our bodies down for hours every day. It's like we don't need to be, at HIIT classes multiple times a week. And what I'll also say is I remind myself of this because that's how I can be. Not more is better, but super consistent is what's required. And it's like, what I forget at times is that when you actually have either periods of non-intensity, basically it's like to be really fit, like you want to do things that are quite challenging, whether that's weights, whether that's intensity, and then you want to have more rest so your body can actually recover. Then you're like kind of in peak shape, like your body is ready for that next challenge, like ready to perform. And so what I find for myself is like, oh yeah, like if I, tone it down, even just do different shit, it's like my body will feel good, better, more able. And it's like, that's really what we want. And so diet is our number one thing for weight loss. And if we keep the weight loss portion of our focus really on diet, there's 5 things that are made up of a fat burning equation: diet, exercise, sleep, stress, and detoxification. But if we so all of these things are important, but diet is still number one. And so when we keep our focus there, then we don't stress out about these other elements quite as much. And we keep our greatest efforts in the place that is actually the highest priority. Health is super easy. Health is basically 3 things. I hope this talk is great. I'm like, this is going to be so short, or it's going to be more like meandering and rambly. I hope this is great. And this is kind of reflective, I'm going to say, of like my state tonight, which was I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. I feel like tired. And it was like, I kind of wanted to blow this off, but it was like, nope, I am deciding to be the woman who shows up every goddamn week because I said I would. The time can change, though those are my rules, but I'm going to be here every freaking Tuesday, unless it's changed to another day deliberately. But anyway, health, 3 things. So it's diet. We already talked about this. Exercise would be amazing. Weights and walking at the very least. And then pharmaceutical grade supplementation. And that is at the very least a multivitamin. If you would like to talk more about that with me, I'd be very happy to. My mom uses what I use, and she is 81, and it was so adorable when we went to the urgent care thing on Saturday, and they're doing her health intake, right? How old is she? Any surgeries or operations? And she's like had a tonsillitis, whatever, had her tonsils out, and she's had bunions removed, and that's it. And she doesn't take any medication. And it's like, because her lifestyle is one that is supportive for health. So she uses the same pharmaceutical grade supplements that I use. She is very active. She's constantly in motion. She does intermittent fasting. She eats more carbohydrates than I do, or than a fat burner does, but she eats less often. She has wide windows between her meals. And it's like, it's relatively simple. Those are the 3 things. Especially when we're older. Things like degeneration happens, but you don't have to age prematurely inside. And then the last one is well-being. And so this is another thing. Less stress is best. And so in so many respects, like, it doesn't take any time to feel good. It doesn't take any time to relax. It doesn't take any time to put your focus on something different, to be grateful for the fact that you chose to light candles tonight, that you chose to sit on the couch and put on comfy socks and cozy boots. It takes no time to just recognize what is And that feels good and does good. And I'll also say that that shit just like buoys us up. It's so much easier to do good when we feel good and to help ourselves feel good. Yes, there's a physical element for sure. Yes, I think based on what we focused on, that can affect our mental well-being. But this like emotional piece as well, just in terms of, you know, focusing on appreciation or what's right. That's a very useful tactic to take in general. That's a great move for life. So I'm just going to go through just a little bit more. This is so pleasurable. Hope this is amazing. There's a quote. I don't know who said this ever, but have known it for a while, and it circles in my head many times. Priorities are never in conflict. So if you're ever struggling with, you know, I say I want this, but I'm not doing this. I say I want this, but I do this instead. I say I want this, but I can't do this because I have to do that. Priorities are never in conflict. So it's like we will do what is important to us. And it's okay if we kind of say one thing and do another. We're being like contradictory to ourselves. And then it's like, what am I actually doing? Or how am I actually like feeling about this thing in terms of feeling anxiety about it or nervous about it, intimidated by it, overwhelmed by it, whatever that is. Change is not for the weak, I think. And I also know that it's like when you make a decision around what you want and you ask for help in a variety of ways, it's like you will get assistance. There is no question. I also want to say, for like a busy woman who is doing too much shit, you need to say no to things. And so, you know, I hope this is valuable to someone, because this isn't like bam, 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 which I feel like for busy people is useful. But I hope this tone and like what's being shared, I hope it is for someone. But I'm sure you know this, but I think boundaries are your best friend when you are busy. And so saying no to unnecessary shit, things that don't serve you, that don't add to your life, is a really smart move. I also want to say, so this is something I said to a fat burner not that long ago, which was, you know, just talking about like supportive habits. So maybe like drinking less, or I don't know if it was exercise. I feel like it was around food. But my statement was like, that was it. I think maybe snacking and drinking. Those were like the things that I kind of brought up. And so it's like, you know, chips are delicious, right? It's like if someone's offering you like some sexy cookie, it's like, that's fun. That sounds good. Or if it's like, you know, we're having wine, you know, we're having a wine tasting. Like, would you like some of this? Do you want to try that? All of that can be fun, but it can also be damaging. It can also be counterproductive. And so the thing that I brought up to her, which I actually feel like I live more in this department for sure, which is to love these things, to understand why I would want to do certain things or not want to do certain things, and love what they do. So for example, with snacking, it's like, well, yeah, all these things are always fucking tasty. And it's like, and if they're like put in front of my nose, I am human, and it makes sense that I would want it. But the thing that I truly believe, the thing that makes supportive choices really easy is understanding why you would want to do this thing and also why you would not want to do this thing. So for example, with snacking, it's like maybe that's you know why you would want to do this because it's delicious. Why you would not want to do it is because each time we eat, it raises insulin. Insulin basically stores more of what we eat as fat, and it blocks our ability to use our body fat for energy for a period of time. And the more we do it, the better we get at using insulin, secreting insulin, the more we secrete. And also the more we simply have this stuff in our bodies. So not only is it harder to lose weight, not only is it easier to gain weight, but it also impacts our health in a big way. It's like every disease is like connected to insulin, and it affects our lifespan as well. So it's like, if you put that shit in front of having the cookie now versus having the cookie later, or even just like, and, you know, I want to look fucking amazing in like the bikini of my dreams that I purchased over the winter. Like, I want to feel great in my skin at my friend's wedding. Like, I want to feel so proud of my body, like every moment of every day. And I'm tired of like going in circles. So if we start to put that shit in front of our choices, it makes supportive choices obvious. And I'll even go as far to say hard to not make. And that's the fucking best. When it's like, I have gone too far. I've gone too far here, in the sense that it's like, I understand the implications of this choice to the degree, and I have made it enough times, to the degree I have worn the neural pathway into a deeply established groove, to the extent that it is hard for me to go against myself now. And so what's cool about that is that you've built this muscle, you have used your superpower of discipline to the degree that it's actually hard to do shit that's not in your best interest. And that's fucking amazing. That is freeing. It's like, that's the whole AI for your GI. Like, you've got automatic intelligence just like working for you. You've got you working for you, which is incredible. So anyway, you want to make your life support your desires. And so when you do, then it's like, this isn't a hardship. This isn't extra. You know, I don't have to like leave my life to go work out or eat well or not eat all the time or to go to bed at a reasonable hour. Like, I don't have to kind of like, you know, sneak away from the people in it. You know, it's like, because we always go out for ice cream, or we always have pizza, or, you know, our family meal is this and it's terrible for all of us, but we're going to have it. It's like, well, what if you made all that shit like supportive for you in a way that was fun, that was easy, that was convenient, that was delicious? Like, that would make sense. And I think that what a lot of people do when they want to get healthier, when they want to lose weight, when they want to get fit, they like go to an island, you know? It's like, I'm gonna go to like New Me Island, and I'm gonna like subsist off of like palm leaves and insects, and, you know, have to like carry water up a mountain every day. And I can never see my friends. And I go to bed right after the sun sets. And it's like, and that's not sustainable. So then they come back to the mainland, and then they develop the shit that they don't really want to have. And so the trick is to bring the island to the mainland. Like, you have to have your shit work in your life. You have to love it. And that doesn't mean that you have to love shit, but you have to make the stuff that you're doing great, fun, easy, like logical to you, delightful, pride-inducing, pleasurable, like things that make you feel like a fucking rock star, like each and every time you do them. Then it's like you're just constantly rewarded for what you're doing versus feeling like it's a form of punishment, because that's not sustainable. Okay. You have to feel good. And so this is something also, again, I hope anyone listens to like any of this. We are not made to be in a stressed out state. like for any duration. It's meant to be like up and then down and then thank you very much. Fight or flight. That's what stress is for, not constant. And I also want to say, just in terms of this, like, you know, the first picture that we painted regarding this like busy woman just like doing all of the shit all of the time, that is not an existence, like, or that is an existence, it's not living. And so, like, we need to feel good. Like, the purpose of life is joy. There's no question about that for me. Like, all of the high points that people, you know, it's like love, puppies, babies, you know, it's like personal victories, like adventure, great relationships, like meaningful moments. It's like, it's joy. It's not anything else. It's not doing a lot. And so when we have joy as our North Star, it's like life is good and we feel good. Things work well. So if you are someone, if you are someone that wants to do less and have more, so we've kind of mapped it out a little bit, right? So it's like you can have other people do shit for you. You can make your shit easier, shorter, more convenient for you. You can, what was another one? We can kind of recognize, is this long term? Is this short term? But the best way to do less and have more is to have your body work for you. So I gave a talk called AI for the GI, and it was great. It was like, some of it was news for me. But essentially, it was really about like automatic intelligence for our intestinal system is really like your mouth to your bum. But really what I meant was like what we're ingesting, what we're doing, how that's impacting our body, how that's making it do a variety of things. But that's the best, when we have our body create reactions that are in our best interest. That's fucking awesome. And to the degree, like, we could never create this. So for example, getting your body into a fat burning mode, undergoing a mitochondrial reconstruction, changes how you work from the cell up, and essentially it enables your body to do more beneficial things while you do less. So one of the things that I shared was that when you're in a fat burning mode, your body naturally creates more brown fat, just like as the result of what you eat and the behaviors that you participate in, more days than not. And what that means is you waste more energy, you burn more fat easily, like just the nature of your body, not because you're working harder, not because you're eating less. It's just because of the fuel that you're using. You waste energy, you create heat, which is inefficient. And so it's like, and it just goes on. I think I shared like 11 things. I'll link it below. It's fucking awesome. Or if you'd like to see it, be in touch. It's awesome. But anyway, it's an amazing way to be. Hi, Marissa. Like talking about things you already know right now. And so when you set yourself up to basically work on your behalf, then you have to do less, or there's less that you have to do. But I think the most exciting thing is that you could never do all of these things that are happening kind of just like humming along in the background for your own benefit. It's awesome and it's freeing. And then maybe two other things I'm just going to say. Now I'm like just going to talk about some fat burner stuff. So it's like, if you want to do less and have more, like, wouldn't it be nice to just have more energy? Like, just to have it? Again, not because you're like sleeping exponentially more, or you're like running on coffee or energy drinks, like polluting your system with like chemicals or a load of caffeine. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, one thing, fat burners talk about, is the fact that at times they need less sleep, or when we do longer fasts, we need less sleep. Or even I talked about my jet lag trick now is to fast, and how like I couldn't go to sleep because I had so much energy. And so it's just so cool. Like the body is miraculous. And when we start to set it up to work on our behalf, it just does kind of unbelievable things for our benefit, for our betterment, and makes life so much easier. I feel like in general, fat burners save time, save money, slow aging, make weight loss easier, make weight gain harder. Yeah, and stress about less. But anyway, so if you are someone that is like tired of either kind of like walking in circles or banging your head against the wall, feeling like what you need to do is still just like not an option because of your life, please consider getting your body into a fat burning mode. Basically, when you do, so much becomes so much easier, and the stuff that might have seemed like an obstacle before doesn't necessarily stand in your way, because it's really not the obstacle anymore. Okay? So anyway, if you are interested in such things, if you are interested in that doing less and having more, please check out our sugar quiz. I'll attach this below this video. And basically, what we're talking about is fuel here. So if you'd like to check out the percentage that you're burning, sugar or fat, that can just be really eye-opening. And so for most people, that's where everybody starts. There are 2 videos following to check out, and if you would like to set up a free time to talk, to see where you are and what could be adjusted to have you create a very different trajectory, would love to help you. All right? But anyway, it breaks my heart when women kind of like, fall on their own sword with their life, that it's like, this is how it is, I have so many things to do, therefore I can't. And that is not true. I feel like both things are not true, to be so bold. Things could be altered, abso-frickin-lutely, or if not, then that better be a pretty short time for you to continually not have what you want. That is not okay. So things need to be adjusted, or this needs to be brief. And then you can have a body that literally helps you in so many ways. There's one fat burner who talked about the fact that she's like, I have muscle definition, but I'm not going to the gym. And it's like, that's because you are keeping muscle and you are losing fat. And so it's like people can look jacked and ripped without necessarily doing harder stuff, spending more time. And again, we do want to lift weights. We do want to do something cardiovascular, but this just gives you such an advantage in so many ways. Okay? That's it. I hope this was amazing. It's quite a talk. I hope people fared the winter storm well, and that you are well in general and doing things that make you feel good. Okay, that's it. Love to all, and until next time.